Hello, everyone. I can see that we have a few users coming in. So let's just give them another minute to settle before we start. For everyone who's here already, thank you for joining us this warm Wednesday afternoon. And Upwork Live, paying taxes as a freelancer in the Philippines. So before we begin, I'd like to introduce myself. I am Avery Ocumen, and you can call me Av. I am the ambassador of Upwork in Metro Manila. So there are other ambassadors in Europe and the US too. And as ambassadors, we support talent like you and me on Upwork in starting and growing your independent businesses by hosting these virtual and local events to provide you a place for you to meet and exchange ideas with like-minded people and hopefully inspire you to take the next step in your career. So I also dabble in the Upwork community. So if you want to interact with Upwork clients and Upwork talent like you can visit the Upwork community at community.upwork.com and ask questions, get tips, and talk about freelancing in general. So while we're waiting to start, I just have a few gentle reminders for everyone. So firstly, there is no chat option available to avoid overcrowding the chat box and disturbing other event attendees. This was actually a feedback that we received before. So we're trying to avoid disrupting the speaker's presentation by removing the chat box. But there is a Q&A box there in your window. So if you have questions about the presentation, you can post it there and we'll receive it and answer it later at the end of the presentation. We will also only entertain questions that are related to the topic of the presentation. So today's topic is about paying taxes in the Philippines. If you have other questions that are not related to this topic, unfortunately, we will not be able to answer them today. However, you can also check other events just in case your questions are more related to these events. And then you can also ask questions during the presentation itself by typing in the Q&A box. So we will select questions to be answered by our speaker at the end of the presentation. Just to remind everyone, not all questions will be answered, and we'll make sure to highlight questions where more freelancers will benefit from. So before we begin, we would like to get to know our attendees. So why don't we have a little poll? Where is my presentation? Here. There you go. So if you can just maybe use your phone or go to slido.com and enter the code hashtags 3757 to be able to participate in the poll. Where are you from? So we want to understand taga saan ba yung audience natin today. Saan ba tayo sa Pilipinas? Kasi most of our events, especially the live events, karamihan ng mga attendees are from Rizal or Calabarzon and the Metro Manila area. Pero alam ko this time, maraming from Visayas and Mindanao. And syempre, gusto naman namin kayong i-welcome to today's event. Ayan, Makati City, Manila, Naik, Cavite, Laguna. Wow, Davao, pinakamalayo. Someone is from Japan. Oh, so hopefully you're a Filipino who understands English and Filipino. I hope you're not Japanese because today's event is for filing taxes as a freelancer in the Philippines. Ayan, meron taga Rizal, Bacoor City, Cagayan de Oro, General Trias, Bohol. Parang ngayon lang ako nakarinig na merong tayong taga Bohol. Northern Mindanao, very general. Mahina po ako sa Hekasi, so hindi ko na ho alam anong mga provinces ang nasa Northern Mindanao. Silang Cavite, Cagayan de Oro, Tacloban. Wow. San Mateo, Rizal. Go Rizal, taga Rizal din po ako. Nakakatuwang makita. Merong La Trinidad Benguet. Happy Panagbenga. Merong Agusan, Leyte. Ayan. Nakakatuwa naman na marami tayong participants all over the Philippines. Usually, wala ako nakikita from Region 2 and Region 3. So, sana today meron tayong ibang participants from these regions. So, meron din from Javier. Oh, yes. Yung taga-Japan, sabi niya, yes, Filipino from Japan. Yan, Tagbilaran, Lucena, Zamboanga del Sur, Pangasinan. Yan, nakakatuwa. Ngayon, mapapaisip kayo bigla parang, saan nga ba yung mga lugar na yun? Ngayon naman, gusto naming malaman, meron tayong next question. I will just wait for the last 2 to 3 participants to type in their answer. Region 9. Leyte, Bacoor, May Kawayan. Pagadian! Napakalayo. Okay. So yung next naman natin na poll is, huwag kayong mag-alala, babalikan natin tong poll na to maya-maya, is what do you want to learn today about Philippine taxation? Siyempre, para malaman ng ating speaker today at ng team niya kung ano yung mga gusto niyong matutunan today, maaari niyo bang ilagay dito sa poll na ito so that we understand yung needs natin. So anong benefits? Benefits ng filing taxes. Yes, that's one question that we always get for these events. Process and requirements. Yan, napaka-importante. Step-by-step process, registering as a freelancer, minimum tax payment. Yan, masasagot yan mamaya. And ano ang consequences? Yan. Siguro parang wala naman sigurong mabigat na consequence, pero may mga pros and cons sa pag-file ng taxes and paying our taxes as freelancers. Paano mag-start sa taxes, how it works, how to file our taxes, how to file as a mixed income business owner, I think, how to avoid penalties, how to pay, applicable BIR forms. Actually, yan, meron pang isang tanong, is it necessary? Yan, nakakatawa. How easy it is. Taxumo services yan. Yeah, maganda yan kasi lalo na sa inyo na merong mga ibang businesses, kunwari meron kayong food stall or meron kayong sarili nyong maliliit na tindahan or online shop, maganda ito para matutunan nyo. Paano nyo ba i-register yung sarili nyo as a small business owner, di ba? Mamaya malalaman din natin, as freelancer, small business owner ba tayo? Ano yung classification natin when we file taxes as a freelancer? Yan. So maraming nagtatanong, ano yung formal job description, ano yung classification natin, ano yung requirements. Okay. Lahat ito, and also if we have time for the Q&A, lahat ito sana masagot natin mamaya. But if you have further questions, just don't hesitate to put, and then we'll get to it later. Okay. Ako, I would suggest na if you have questions, wait for the presentation to end, saka nyo itanong yung questions nyo. Kasi definitely, yung mga questions nyo, masasagot yan throughout the presentation. Pero kung hindi naman, hindi siya na-discuss, saka nyo itanong sa Q&A. Okay, it's time to meet our speaker. So our speaker for today is Melanie Santiago, who is a tax awareness advocate and a product manager of Taxumo. So she conducts taxation workshops now and then while focusing on homeschooling her daughter and managing the taxation concerns of her personal business. So maraming facets si Melanie, no? There's some personal business, and she's also the product manager for Taxumo, and nag-homeschool din siya ng kanyang anak. So, very impressive. So, Melanie is a business co-owner, which makes taxation part of her crucial activities. So, this gave her a good grasp of the challenges of taxation from a business point of view. And she's also an event director for Manila workshops, where she often encounters freelancers like us, licensed professionals, and business owners who are still on their journey to learn how to comply with and optimize their tax compliance activities. So let me invite Melanie to unmute herself. And I will just share her presentation. Give me a sec.
All right. So I hope everyone can hear me and that my audio is clear. So while on presenting the slides for me, I would just like to thank everyone for joining, and I'd like to congratulate you. So give yourself a pat because when I started as well venturing on these things on taxes, ang hirap-hirap. Pag basa mo pa lang ng word na tax, it already gives me palpitations, to be honest. It's not something easy to understand. And I'd like to tell everyone, just a disclaimer, I am not an accountant. I'm not even a bookkeeper. I am like what has been introduced. We started a business together, my husband and I also have a lot of racket because life is hard. You gotta earn, you gotta hustle, and a lot of you can relate to that. But when taxes introduce itself to me in a very harsh way, iniyakan ko talaga to. We paid penalties for this. It was then that I understood there's no escaping it. And I do relate. I can relate on the questions. And I will do my best to explain. That's why I hail myself as a tax awareness advocate. I'd like to advocate the learning of taxes because it's going to be for you. It's going to help you. Babaunin nyo to. If not in this kind of profession, if one day you're going to start your business and probably go on investing or things like that, taxes will always be a concern. And like what they say, there are only two constant things in life because everything changes, right? It's death and taxes. So mamatay na lang yung kamag-anak nyo. Siyempre, hindi mo na tayo. Mamatay na yung kamag-anak natin, may estate tax pa rin. So there's still taxes involved. So that's why it's important to understand these things. So, maayong hapon sa mga taga-Davao yun ko. So, Bisaya pod ko, okay ra yun mag-Bisaya pod ko if ever you can express your questions. But I'm based here in Quezon City, so I do understand Tagalog. And then, yeah, we're gonna do most of the slides in English naman. So, thank you very much and congratulate yourself. And also like to let you know that you're not gonna do all of it in one sitting. But I'm gonna present you the gist, why you have to learn it, ano yung concepto behind it, so that when you are there already, somehow it gives you a sense of direction. Okay, because it's confusing. Like there's no one-way formula for one person to pay taxes. Because if their streams of income will affect it, your bracket of income will affect it. Okay, and when the season of filing and what BIR imposes to you specifically will affect your compliance as well. So, we're gonna start with our slides. Okay. Ayan. Next tayo. There. Okay. I just like to let you know, okay, that we have 30% off on all subscription plans. So, you can use this later on. As soon as you understand, what we're offering. But first, we're gonna dabble into, like, taxation talaga. Basics of taxes. So, next tayo. There. Okay. Is it proceeding on your end?
No, give me a sec.
Okay. So, while we're working on the slides, because perhaps the Apple device doesn't really adapt well on certain platforms, but thank you for bearing with us. Sagutin ko muna yung unang mga questions. Ano ba yung advantage of paying taxes? Because it will give you that level of hugot of why you have to do this, okay? So, in terms of paying taxes, ano nga ba ang advantage? So, unang-una is that I know a lot of because I have friends who are also based in this platform who started their career in online freelancing on this platform. But perhaps if you also want to scale yourself in venturing into offering your services here locally, one of the things that companies look for whenever they hire someone to do the task for them is for you to be legitimate. So when you are registered, when you pay your taxes, those tax records are your proof that you are legitimate in offering your service. In fact, one of the campaigns of the government is that you should be looking for services from people who are registered and can issue receipts, because if time will come na, let's say, alam mo yun, may discrepancy on what was offered or a contract was breached, the government can then easily just, impose what's in the law kasi may written agreement and there's a sense of legitimacy if you're really, not a fly-by-night company or a person. So there's a level of safety as well. So you can scale up. You can scale up your business, not just your freelancing journey. If you want to establish a firm here in the Philippines, give employment to other people, this is something you need to comply with. Next naman is peace of mind. Unahin ko na to. Kasi I just read this certain document that was submitted to us from the House of Representatives, the Digital Economy Taxation Act. So, as some of you know, hindi pa masyado into the digital economy ang BIR. In fact, with a lot of talks, I was invited as speaker in Iligan for Philippine Online Freelancing Conference. Kikwento ko lang sa inyo. And the government entities were there. In fact, some of the people who started with your platform were there. Figures were presented there, okay? And transactions for online freelancing that goes through the payment platforms here in the Philippines, yung pumapasok na pera was presented there. And did you know that the government already knows that this is a big economy? We are already a home of actually more than 4 million freelancers. And the bracket of income that you have, syempre, by privacy context naman, they didn't show the people there, but is already aware of the earning potentials of the people in the online freelancing. And I'm not sure if the term revolves around your community, but they call you already OFW 2.0. If a lot of you have clients based on abroad, but you're working here in the Philippines, that you don't have to leave the country, yun yung term na ginagamit nila eh, and especially DICT, OFW 2.0, kasi ganun kalaki yung bracket ng income that the potential to earn in this platform. So the eyes of the government is already on you. Okay? So, yun, peace of mind kasi I just like to let you know that there is being pushed a Digital Economy Taxation Act. And some of the articles are saying this may be imposed this year. And that includes services that are rendered digitally, not just the online platforms. Kasi medyo CBIR are already looking into taxing yung mga selling platforms here in the Philippines. But they already know these figures. So for your peace of mind, unahan nyo na. Let's learn about it because if ang kalaban mo ay gobyerno, it's only a matter of time for them to check on things, who's earning how much, or if some of you have already invested, probably you have your own house and your own car, and then walang tax record, it's gonna be a little sketchy for them. So, that's one of the things. I'm not trying to scare you, but I'm trying to tell you that it's gonna catch up. So, kung ayaw mo ng kung gusto mo ng peace of mind, kung ayaw mo ma-disturb on that same thing, might as well advocate. And advocate on paying taxes. And at the same time, let's help on our nation, politics aside, let's help our nation build its economy. With the capacity of you earning, a lot of the programs, maraming programa ang gobyerno that is supposed to help people like you. But they're still working on it. That's why they have forums with online platforms at yung mga groups for online freelancers so that they know what really is your concern, how the government can help you, even, put a category of, specific line of business or profession that you have. So, and lastly, avoid penalties because in terms of taxation, it's like para daw siyang sabi ng isang tax lawyer, parang siyang criminal law that it's not a matter of when you were caught not paying, but it's when you did not start paying, may kita ka na hindi ka nagbabayad. And it's just a matter of time probably for the government to also check on that. So hindi agad-agad, but pag nahuli ka, parang yun, it's really gonna be hard. So that's why I urge you to learn this. So next slide tayo. Ayan. Don't worry, I'm not gonna ask you of how much you're earning here. Hindi din ang maniningil ng tax. But most of the questions that people ask us is, what are forms 2303? Magkano yung tax ko? Ang daming tanong nga kanina. It's already related to that. How do I know what's due? Hindi pa nga ako nakakolekta. Where do I start? Okay? Anong percentage ng withholding tax? So next slide tayo. I'm gonna do my best to do all of these. So, naunahan ko na I went ahead of my slides. No? So, we'd like to remind you that if you pay your taxes, you have good credit rating, especially if some of you are applying for a loan, you want your own car or house. To be honest, may mga kilala ko within your industry that doesn't even need a loan because they're earning so much that they pay through cash. But if you have to want to have that good credit rating as well for future endeavors, you want that tax record, correct income tax return, okay, so that later on, if ever may mga perks in ng government, they even offered assistance during the pandemic for businesses. You gotta keep your record straight in terms of taxes and be a socially conscious citizen. That's why I'm also advocate of this because, politics aside, there are a lot of people who do not have the opportunity to earn like you do, like we do. And in a way, we gotta help them. There are a lot of government scholars out there or people needing emergency care, na aksidente, but because there are firefighters or, people paid by the government to do their job to help those people that don't really have anything. It makes me feel okay. At least I'm doing my part because I'm paying my taxes. There. Next slide tayo. Okay, today I'm gonna do my best to share the overview tips and best practices on taxes. Next tayo. Okay, registration. First things first talaga, ideally, you should be registered. There are people I know who think, basta pag nag-file ako, nagbayad ako, that's it. But you have to make sure that you have to have the correct documents because this will be the basis of, how you're going to scale up your profession or business and how the government is going to track your tax records. So for you, for those who are online freelancers, or probably you also have other freelance that are not done online, like, you're practicing your profession here. There are two categories in the eyes of the government. There are licensed professional, those who are practicing under PRC issued license, like our medical practitioners that are, doing online consult. PRC license sila, so they can register as licensed professional. But for a lot of you who are offering your services but are not regulated by PRC, you don't even need to take board exam. You're still recognized as a professional, but they call it non-licensed. So in terms of registration, I'd just like to show you this specific parang how we want to simplify things. So on the left side of the panel, ayan, we have the requirements, and then on the lower side you have the liabilities. You have the option to choose what entity you will register yourself with. It's not like, okay, I do this, sabihin nila, hindi, dapat ganito ka, professional ka. What I want to tell you is that you can think of how you want to scale up what you do. Because there are people who do what you do, but they want to build like an agency or a business entity, or they want to scale up, or yung talagang full-blown business. You can choose for yourself. But if you see yourself, I just want to be on my own, rendering my service, I'm not going to sell, specific products, then you can register as a professional. Because if you register as a professional, meaning you're rendering your service, yung skill ninyo to your clients. So in this case, you have less requirements actually. Okay, because you're not a business entity. Hindi ka pa business entity. But if you register as sole proprietorship, this is when you see yourself as a business entity already. If you're a business entity already, eto din yung inaalaw ng government, minimum for those who sell products. Dapat business entity ka na. Okay? Pag services lang, pwedeng professional. But for sole proprietorship, okay, it's still you, but you're a business entity already. But if you want to scale up on partnership and corporation, pwede din naman. But as you go through it, makikita mo, mas maraming requirement na. Pag business entity ka, so mas maraming requirement pag sole proprietorship, more requirement for partnership, and more requirement for corporation. But in terms of liability, let's talk about this. What if merong case against me, like God forbid, like, tax liabilities, or if ever a lawsuit was filed or whatever, you're personally liable if you're registered as a professional or sole proprietorship. Sa madaling salita, pwedeng habulin ang iyong personal assets. Any assets under your name, under your tax identification number can be sought after by the government to pay your liabilities. But if you want to protect your personal assets, merong iba, they build a partnership or a corporation. Or recently, if you've heard, meron ng option as one-person corporation. It's just me, but I'm a corporate entity. Especially if you feel like what you do has certain risk talaga. Parang ang hirap iwasan ng accidents or, some unfortunate events. They register as corporation. Kasi ang pwede lang habulin are assets that are named in the partnership or the corporation. So you have the options. Okay, next slide tayo. I want to simplify it because people are confused. Which government offices do I go to? Okay, and a lot of people, when I started with this work, because I'm a business person who got frustrated with taxes. Hindi ko alam paano magsimula. So what I did was, instead of just learning, I really applied for work related to taxes. That's why it led me here. So it made me understand all of these, government entities. And I've already done talks with DTI. We've done talks with some of the commissioners with BIR. Okay, so we know what we're talking about. Now, in this case, if you register as a professional, it's optional actually to register with DTI. But there are people kasi that want to create a certain brand and they want to protect that name na walang ibang gumamit. You can register with DTI. It is optional. Okay, but it expires in 5 years. So babugin mo na naman. There's a way to do it online. Okay, and then pwedeng ini-email na lang nila yung DTI registration. But as you can see, yung partnership and corporation doesn't go through DTI. That's why they have a lot of requirements as well, documentary requirements. Because mas madugo sa SEC. May mga articles of incorporation, yun na yung mga bylaws. Sila yun. Pag professional ka, optional ng DTI. But as you can see on the LGU side, on the second column, okay, on the third column, okay, the LGU, required lahat. But on the LGU, you will only pay, kasi di ba pag sa LGU, ano ba yung LGU? Munisipyo, BIR. Ay, munisipyo at barangay. Munisipyo at barangay. Ito yung LGU. So, you are not a business entity. What you go for is to pay that occupational tax receipt. Para siyang sedula. Isang papel lang yun, okay, that you pay yearly, okay, as non-licensed professional. PTR naman or professional tax receipt for licensed professional. Isang resibo lang yun. Hindi kayo magre-renew ng business permit. Every year lang yun. It's like a cedula, okay? But for sole proprietorships and partnership corporation, business entity na sila, ito na yung mga business permit. Yung mga mukha ni mayor, yung plaka, sila na yun, okay? But all of these entities, regardless of, what's your means of earning, the regulating body of the government is really BIR. So we're gonna jab and dive more into BIR taxes, okay? Because yung LGU taxes, pa iba-iba kasi. Tsaka sa OTR, PTR, it's just a one-time thing, very, very minimum. Okay, so BIR taxes ay mag-focus. All of these entities should be registered to BIR. Okay, next tayo. Okay, ang BIR Form 2303, once you register, you will receive this document. 2303 is basically your certificate of registration. It will entail your details, your taxpayer's number. If you got your TIN years ago, matatrack nila yon, and then kung kailan ka nagrehistro. The most important thing that we check here is the registered activities, the tax forms that they will impose. Hindi sila yung parang basta itong entity, ito na. They will ask you to submit certain requirements. Okay, may mga forms na fill outan. And in fact, with what you do, medyo hindi kasi nila gets. Lalo pag medyo hindi na youngsters yung mga nasa desk, they don't really understand what you do. So what they ask is that you maybe provide a sample contract or a portfolio kung wala ka pang kontrata of what you do so that they can categorize your business entity. And they will be the one to tell you what taxes you need to file. You will also have to tell them if ever may ibang sources of income ka. Kasi baka pwede siyang pag-isahin on one registration. Or kung talagang hindi related, pwedeng separate registration. But this is where you know what forms exactly do you need to file. Okay? Para lang alam nyo, hindi siya yung parang, ay, gayahin ko lang si friend, ganito kami. So, maraming things that they're assessing so that they can impose what forms you need to file. Next tayo. The classification of taxes in the Philippines. So, in terms of earning for your profession and business, these are the common taxes. Wala dito yung mga taxes ng property, estate taxes, because those are different things. We're gonna jab deeper into like you as an earner for profession or business. So you have your income tax, business tax, expanded withholding tax, and withholding tax of compensation. Wag tayo mo-overwhelm. Okay, I'm just gonna explain the context of all of these. We're not gonna complete anything now, but at least maintindihan ninyo ano yung each of the form. Next slide tayo. Okay? So, may mga terms. Okay, eto na. Kasi minsan nakikita nyo ito sa mga resibo eh. Or probably you've heard this on conversations out there. Okay, there are terms that you will come across like graduated income tax, 8%, VAT percentage. Iisa-isahin natin yan. But these are the categories of where you see them, where they are related. So, next slide tayo. Income tax, next. Okay. So, for income tax, did you know that you have options on how BIR will compute your tax as an individual taxpayer? Pag individual taxpayer, ano ba to? That means you are registered as sole proprietorship or professional. Bakit individual taxpayer? Because when you register, it will carry your personal tax identification number. Bawal po yung dalawa yung tin kasi isang tao. Okay, bawal po yun. Okay, for each person, you are carrying your tax identification number, which you had probably when you were employed years ago, and that's what you're gonna carry when you have your, you're on your own on your profession, or when you want your sole proprietorship registered. So you're an individual taxpayer. There is an option, and this was inquired a lot. Even may mga Pilipino ako nakakausap based abroad who's, still paying taxes here in the Philippines that were inquiring about this, the 8% flat income tax rate. On 2018, this was fully implemented, and there were a lot of people who are asking about this. So you can go for this option. Sige, BIR, gusto ko 8%. Some of them, when they registered, nakatatak na yung 8% doon. Tsaka nung 2018 kasi, konting chika lang on taxes. Biglang naglabas ng revenue regulation si BIR na, sige, yung mga di pa nag-register, but at late nag-register, we're gonna forgive you from penalties of late registration. But you have to register by this period. May mga ganon. So, ang daming freelancers who were asking about it. So how is it computed? The 8% flat income tax rate. So you can only go for this option if your gross income is less than 3 million. I know some people who are earning much more than this, but if your gross pa ito, is less than 3 million, you can go for this option. If you are earning solely from your business or profession, /profession, okay, this is how it's computed. Yung gross sales mo, kung magkano yung kinita mo for the whole year, minus 250,000. That means, ladies and gentlemen, your first 250,000 of income is non-taxable. Wala siyang tax. Okay, when we're talking about income tax. So less 250,000, in excess of that, that's when 8% is computed. Okay? Totoo po yung chismis. Train law was passed years ago. Kung wala kang anak, lahat ng kita mo taxable. But since, ginawa na siyang patas kasi every time you have a dependent, may anak ng isa, 50,000 non-taxable. Sige, ano pa tayo ng isa? Another 50,000 non-taxable. But when train law was passed, ipatas natin lahat. May anak ka o wala, your first 250,000 income, walang tax. Okay? So, ganun yun. If you're earning solely from business. If you're a mixed income earner, na wala yung 250,000 from gross sales times 8%. Saan napunta yung 250,000, Melanie? When you say kasi to BIR, mixed income ako, you are telling BIR that you are fully employed. Okay? Hindi siya multiple streams of income, fully employed, empleyado ka talaga. And you have your side hustle, which is probably your online freelancing or business. Okay? That's mixed income for the government. So, yung 250,000 is applied on your employment. Nakuha mo pa rin, okay? In this case, and people think na pag annual ITR, Abril lang yun. But the real thing is you need to be filing it quarterly, okay? And then, isa-sum up siya, i-collate siya all together for annual ITR, which is on April. Okay? The advantages if you choose this is kung may business tax ka, na percentage tax, automatic zero. Yun yung isang advantage na. A lot of freelancers like this because in this case, you don't need to justify to BIR your expenses. gross sales yung titingnan niya. So, what if wala kang resibo sa mga pinaggagawa mo, pinagbibili mo? It's fine. They're not gonna check on that. They're just gonna check on your gross sales. And then, it's easy for freelancers to foresee how much is the tax. Okay, so I'm trying to dig deep into like what would make sense to you as a online freelancer. Next slide tayo. Okay. Pag graduated income tax rate naman, okay, there's a new tax table that was implemented this year. Iba yung last year, iba yung this year. May konting adjustments lang naman. But nevertheless, your initial 250,000, okay, makikita niyo sa table, pag hindi over 250,000, walang tax. So kung lumampas ka nun, hindi pa rin tax yung unang 250,000 mo. Ang maganda for this rate is that if you are very much mabusisi, masipag in collecting receipts for your purchases, this will help you a lot because gross sales minus gross purchases. So if you are on your profession and you have, a lot of purchases of devices or you had meetings, you have receipts already, gross sales minus gross purchase. Ang advantage is if you have more expenses that you can justify, the lower your taxes are. So gross sales kasi minus gross purchase. Ganun siya. And then, kung magkano yung natira, yung neto of that, magkano yung tax payable, ibabangga lang siya on this tax table. So, you don't have to memorize this tax table, but what you have to remember is that the purchases will help you a lot if you go for itemized deduction. Itemized deduction. The thing is, for this rate, itemized deduction, ito yung default ni BIR. Kung ikaw ay unregistered, kunyari nahuli ka, may income ka pala, hindi ka registered, you need to pay for back taxes ng mga hindi mo na-comply. Ito yung rate na fina-follow nila talaga. Naka-default to itemized deduction. Or if nag-file ka ng late, unregistered or late filing, they default the computation to itemized deduction. So, yun lang. That's something you need to bear in mind. Pag register ka, you have options, and then if you file early, you can choose the options on the form. Next tayo, OSD. What if I don't like the two rates presented? Ano pa ibang option? OSD. Graduated income tax rate, pero optional standard deduction. So, there are people na hindi qualified for 8%. Korporasyon ako, hindi ako pwede mag-8% kasi hindi ako sole prop or proprietorship. So, you can go for this option. The purchases or expenses doesn't matter. It's gross sales times 60%, which means pipikitan ni BIR yung 40% ng gross sale mo, ng kinita mo. Pipikitan niya. They will assume that it's expenses already. And only 60% of your gross sale is taxable. Tapos syempre, ibabangga siya dito sa tax table na to. Okay. So, there's no one way of computing taxes. Ladies and gentlemen, etong income tax is the most common tax form for a Filipino. Regardless of your income stream, regardless of where you're based at, kunyari may sense of income, may source of income ka. And in fact, I will check, but there are yung mga not Filipinos but are working for Filipino companies, i-impose nito. So, ito yung pinaka-common talaga, income tax rate. This coming April, okay, naghahanda na yung mga tao, annual ITR filing, ito yon, income tax rate po yun. So, if you're not registered and you might as well start filing your income tax, ito yung option nyo. You can go for, ito yung rates that you can check on, income tax rate. But then again, if you're not yet registered, itemized deduction tayo. So don't worry, we can give you copies of the slides naman later on. Next tayo, okay? So, hinga lang, it's okay. For people who are working here in the Philippines, may mga racket sa mga companies, okay? May online work na, may racket pa for Philippine-based companies. Most likely, baka rin taka ka, the contract was 20,000 for this specific, digital content or whatever. And then, they just sent 18,000 or 19,500, but binawasan. And then when the company tells you that's for taxes, that means they are required to withhold. Meaning, siningil nila maaga yung income tax. Okay? So what you gotta do is ask for Form 2307 sa kanila. Kasi, parang credit na siya. Nag-advance payment ka na ng income tax mo. So, all you have to do is collect it, attach mo siya sa income tax filing mo para maibawas sa iyong income tax due kung magkano yung kinuha nila. So this is only evident for freelancers who are doing racket as contract-based worker, project-based worker here in Philippine registered companies. So FYI on that. Next tayo. Okay. Business tax naman. So don't worry yung mga ibang taxes, medyo shorten naman yung explanation. I just have to dig more on the income tax. Business tax naman tayo. Next. VAT. Okay, value-added tax. Kumain na ba kayo sa labas? Yung mga restaurant chains or a lot of you may have eaten on, some really, really good fine dining restaurants. And you see on the receipt, there's a computation. Tapos dinagdagan pa ng tax. Okay? Kasi the thing is, ang value-added tax ay naipapasa to consumer. They pass it to consumer. So if a company that's, selling goods, or services, or it's a restaurant, they can pass the VAT tax to their consumer. That's why when you see the receipt, kaya pala may patong na VAT, pinasa nila sa akin. So that's the way of the government to also tax the madlang people, the common people when they purchase from these companies. So what is in it for you? I just like to let you know that yun nga, the one that I told you about kanina, Digital Economy Taxation Act, is an act imposing value-added tax on digital transactions in the Philippines. This is not yet, as far as I know, fully imposed, but this is already drafted in the House of Representatives. And if ever tatamaan ng inyong industry, isa to sa diretso VAT agad. And this is 12%. So may kita 12% of the sales ito. So how is it computed? So for VAT taxes kasi, it's output tax minus input tax. Ano ba yun? Okay. Output tax means, it's your sale. So automatically, if you're required by the government to pay VAT taxes, tikitan mo muna yung 12% ng iyong kinita. So pagpasok ng income, gross sales mo yon, gross income mo yon, tikitan mo yung 12%. The only way that you can lower it legally is if you have purchases that are VATable as well. So, kunyari, ako ay VAT taxpayer as a freelancer. The only way I can lower my taxes for this specific period is if I have purchases, probably devices or, meeting out there in a restaurant na may VAT value, mababawas siya. So kung ano yung nakikita ko sa expenses ko na VAT amount, ibabawas siya sa VAT tax ko. So umiikot itong VAT taxes. What if wala akong purchases na may VAT? Kasi sa mga friendship ako na unregistered bumibili ng mga services or products, it's fine. Pero yun nga, 12% of your sales automatically gets given to the government as VAT taxes. This is filed last year, monthly and quarterly, but a lot of people are thankful because effective this year, quarterly na lang ang filing ng VAT taxes. So much easy. And sobrang madugo kasi nito, kada buwan. So right now, it's really quarterly na lang because the government also feels like, it's hard for taxpayers to keep up every month. So every quarter na lang ito. But then again, the computation still stands. So kung magkano yung sales mo for the whole quarter, 12% of that. So at least aware ka na. And there are attachments as well. Parang listahan siya of your transactions, kita at mga ginastos na may VAT value. So that's SLSP, Summary List of Sales and Purchases. And these are imposed for, usually for those earning 3 million and above. But if ever yun nga, sa katuparan ang Digital Economy Taxation Act, tatamaan ng VAT taxes ang mga digital transactions in the Philippines. Next tayo, percentage tax naman kung ikaw ay earning less than 3 million for gross sales, okay? And if ever walang preceding law that requires you to file VAT taxes. So percentage tax. A lot of the freelancers I know na parang, alam mo yan, nagsisimula pa lang talaga. The government lets them start with percentage tax. Mas mababa ito kasi 3% lang. Unlike VAT, 3% lang from your gross sale. But did you know, during the pandemic, syempre, may efforts din yung government, pababain yung taxes, binaba nila to 1%. Etong percentage tax. But it's gonna expire on June of this year, second quarter of this year. After that, ibabalik na naman to 3%. Para lang makabangon yung mga affected economically for the pandemic. But again, kung ikaw ay nag 8% income tax rate, automatic magzi-zero yung Taxumo for percentage tax. So there you go. Next tayo. Okay, expanded withholding tax. Okay. This is why 2307, yun nga, yung mga companies based here in the Philippines, pag hinire ka nila to do the services, they are required to withhold. Why? Hindi ka nila ma-declare as an expense. Siyempre, binayaran ka nila if they don't withhold. It's like collection agent sila. Pinakolekta ng government yung tax mo ng maaga. That's why they are required to get a certain amount. And the percentage is dictated by your gross income. Kung magkano yung i-declare, i-withhold nila, and the line of profession. So there are tax withheld, there are specific tax code, in fact, for mga artista, mga singer, mga basketball player, sa boxing, iba-iba yung percentages. But for certain professionals, mas mababa yung withholding tax sa atin. But nevertheless, hindi naman nawala ito. Hindi dumoble yung tax mo. This is just an advance payment of your income tax. That's why you get that form and attach it on your income tax. Next tayo. That is the receiver on your end. So whatever it is, if ever some of you are doing racket for Philippine-based companies and they withheld taxes from you, you should get that form. Sayang. Kasi those are tax credits for your income tax. If ever, and I know a lot of Filipinos na ang daming companies that they work for digital contents and all of that, they get multiple 2307. So kung how much you have for a specific period required, i-attach mo lang siya lahat. All of those will be deducted from your tax due on income tax. On the issuer naman, for if ever you have your own firm already and you are hiring freelancers to work on your firm or as a business entity, at hindi sila fully employed, yun nga, kailangan mong to take a portion of their income and remit it in advance to the government. Ito medyo madugo din for them because this is filed monthly and quarterly. May remittance siya na form every month. Ayan, yun yung mga form list. If someone is asking, anong form? Ito yun, mga 0619E, 1601EQ. You don't have to memorize it. But yan yun. They file it monthly and quarterly. And that companies will submit yung mga nakatrabaho nilang freelancers for this specific period. This is also one of the reasons why some of the freelancers wonder, kaka-register ko pa lang, but may penalty ako kaagad? Because at some point, there's a paper trail of your income probably that BIR was able to check. And these are just one of the avenues that BIR can check. So, yun nga, may mga ganon, iyakan moments when they register because they already have an outstanding penalty for that. So, there, that's on the issuer, on the company part. Next tayo, we're almost done so that we can cater a question. Next, withholding tax on compensation. Ito naman ay sasahod. I won't deal much about this because if you are fully employed, this is mandatory for employers. If you are employed here in the Philippines, okay, empleyado ka talaga, dito yung mga term na minimum wage earner, nakita niyo sa news, basic salary, de minimis, allowances, yan, rise allowance, all of those are applicable for employees here in the Philippines if you are employed by a Philippine-based company. So again, yung 250,000 non-taxable income is by default applied if you are employed. So they file it to the government every month and there is a list that they submit every year, every January. Kung meron po ditong empleyado, you should have been able to receive your form 2316, which summarizes all of your income, your allowances, and all that jazz for the previous year. That's 2316. If some of you were employed mid of the year, you still get it. Hindi kailangan fully the whole year. If my employment ka from the previous year, you get this form. Why do you need that? This is when mixed income earner comes, the term comes in, and you have to file on your own. Kasi hindi naman alam ng employer mo kung ano pa yung mga kinikita mo. So you get the 2316 from your employer, you consolidate it with your other streams of income when you file your income tax. So, ganun lang naman yun. That's why you need to file taxes on your own. For those fully employed, as in, empleyado lang, wala ibang ginagawa, dito na yung substituted filing. So, kung if you were employed years ago, wala namang fina-file na tax. Kasi yung company, yung nagfa-file for you, the Form 2316 day release will serve as your annual ITR. Ganun po siya. So, next tayo. Yan. It's searchable online. So, I don't have to deal with the forms as well. Next. I know it can be overwhelming. Okay, I'm just jabbing into what makes sense for you. There is a way to help you out. We're still here. We're a web app that helps people like you who are confused on how to get started. In fact, if you don't want to line up to BIR for registration, we also have CPA partners that can help you out. And on filing taxes, the government is also doing its part to digitalize whatever compliance that they impose, and that we are one of the ways they are helping you out, because we are a tax software provider accredited by BIR to help you out on these things. Next slide, Dio. Our vision is, to be the number one business portal where you can we can help you out on your productivity and succeed in your business and in what you do. So in the mission, ayan, I'm not gonna deal much about it, but we want to help you out, and we want to hit to be a key enabler for full and productive employment, decent work for all men and women by 2030. Next slide tayo. Okay, based on our stats, ayan, we've catered a lot of creatives, designers, content creators, online sellers, gig workers. A lot of our contents are out there partnering with other companies like you as well. Next tayo. Okay, one of the things that we have identified when we were doing survey for freelancers, maybe online or here in the Philippines lang, doing face-to-face transactions are hard to track collection. So we want to solve that as well. But I know there are tools as well in your platform where you also help out on that. But the thing is, we also want to solve the tedious and manual compliance process. What I've explained here are just the concept, the basics of it. It's another thing when you're filing already, okay? But we're here to help you out, okay? Did you know that you're gonna spend 100 more, actually more than 182 hours if you pay manually, preparation and filing. I've done that on my own. It's so tedious, so tedious. Hindi pa ganun kaswabe yung interface and even the functionalities of tax compliance when you do it manually. So that's why companies like us were born to help you out. Next tayo. Our promise is that for those na walang means to track on their collection, we want to help you out on collecting efficiently and comply easily on your taxes. Next, bibilisan ko lang to na part because I want to cater the questions. Our solution is we want to help you automate the collection process to track your cash flow, tax calculation, and I've done this. I was in Batangas 10 days ago. I was just filing my annual forms using my phone because I'm filing through Taxumo. It's so easy. That's why I stayed, helping out the company on doing these things. Next tayo. Yes, I attest to this time efficiency. If all of your records are already in Taxumo, you just click on the forms and file it. Collating all your data. Ano nga yung resibo na to? Magkano nga to? If all of your records are there, automatically it's consolidated, real time, and then you can just click and file taxes in less than 3 minutes. Mababa talaga yung rate. I've hired before. I'm speaking on my own experience. I've hired bookkeepers before, accountants before to do the filing for me, but it's not as the minimum that I've paid was like 3,000 to 5,000 just to keep up with filing taxes and records. But with Taxumo, you can do it as low as 399 per month. Magkano lang yun, diba? And it's always on time. We want to help you out in not being late in filing and avoid penalties. Next tayo. It's a web-based app. You can explore it later on. You can just visit our website. There's a chat box there as well. And our team will help you out. There's a way to sign up for free. There's a button there. You can use it on your phone, or it's not downloadable app, but it's a web-based app. So if your browsers, you can do it there. Next, uh, yeah, invoicing and finance reporting. We are working on it. Free layer of allowing users to automate their invoicing processes, because for those who are starting out, this are one of the things that they are having a hard time to create. So we wanna help out as well. Next, tax calculation. This is what I like. When you are already registered and you're filing on your own, one of the stresses is that hindi mo ma-predict yung taxes mo. And sometimes when you hire someone to do it and they tell you few days before the deadline or the actual deadline na we kailangan magbayad ng 10,000 pesos. What if you're not ready? It gives you that tax shock feeling. And I hate that personally. That's why I like whenever I update my Taxumo account, it gives me a projection of my taxes. So it allows me to set aside that amount before the actual deadline. So whenever I have another transaction, gagalaw ulit yung computation, it allows me to prepare. That's what here. Next tayo. Few clicks on filing. Next slide tayo. Just click next. It allows you to give a summary of your data if you perhaps started on your own and in mid of the year. It gives you time to consolidate kung wala doon lahat ng records mo. There. Next tayo. Then prep, file, or pay, or all of the above. There are people who just prepare the form because someone else is paying for them. Prepare and file because you may have other means to pay your taxes that are government accredited. Or prepare, file, and pay. Few clicks of the button, it redirects you to payment channels that we have partnered with to pay your taxes and remit it to BIR. Next, there are payment channels. Next tayo. So, yung documents, ito talaga ha, real talk, aside from filing the forms, the list that I told you about, the withheld taxes, the list of the 2307s, the QAP, the SLSP, may mga listahan siya that BIR will ask. Sobrang dugo. Personally, I tried it. I tried to learn it, but you have to encode each of your transaction one by one on their platform, and somehow the system that they have, though it's downloadable, it's a bit Jurassic. Medyo matagal siya. At minsan naghahang pa siya. So parang ang hirap. But with Taxumo, it's all of the transactions, if you have encoded your transactions, we can easily just generate that list and submit it as that file. That file kasi yung hinihingi ni BIR. So we can help you out as well. So there. Next tayo. Okay, I won't deal much about this, but we have options for you. You can pay monthly, quarterly, annual, or 2-year. Next slide tayo. Okay, swabe lang, ayan. Plans on pricing, you have options as well. Some people, if you go for a long-term transaction with us, mas bumababa yung rates per month. Next. Yan, if you're a non-VAT filer, perhaps you can't really relate much on this kasi nga, you're just starting out. So, you have options naman. So, let's just breeze through the slides. Next tayo. Okay? So, we want to stay true to our promise and help you out on tax filing as well. Next, I think I'm also... Other services, if ever. Okay. We have consultation support, filing support, bookkeeping support. If you don't want to do it on your own, kahit online na siya, tapos parang wala eh, your time is more valuable and you want an accountant to do it for you. We can have a CPA partner manage the platform for you so you can just easily check it kung tama yung ginagawa niya, na-file nga ba niya, magkano yung binayad, magkano yung kailangan bayaran. So, you can easily just check one specific platform without emailing documents back and forth so much. Next tayo. There. Okay. Ituloy-tuloy na lang natin. I won't deal much about this. Next. May mga options lang. So, there. Made by Filipinos for Filipinos. Kami ay mga taxpayers who got frustrated with how confusing it is. So, we are here for you to help you out on your tax filing. So, I think we can go for the Q&A na. There, you have that code. If you want to subscribe, you can use that to get 30% off on all subscription plans.
Ayan. There was actually one question earlier who I think her name was Anna Jeremy de la Cruz, who asked like, is there an option to pay online? So naisip ko, other than Taxumo, does BIR have an online payment portal where you can pay
Yes, they
online?
have. If you go to the BIR website, so search na BIR, okay? Tapos meron doon I forgot their specific parang persona that they created there. You just go to the home screen, and then there's the EBIR form. You can download it, okay? You can download it, and then it will be installed on your device. Unfortunately, it doesn't work on mga Apple devices. So yung mga non-Apple device, doon siya nag-work. So I file on a separate device when I do filing. And then you will see there. The thing is, there are a lot of form options there. Wala siyang guide kasi when you download it. It just allows you to click on the form, input your data as the taxpayer. You click on the form, tapos lagay mo na kung ano yung mga sales mo dun. Ganon siya. So, if ever you file the wrong form, which some people told us, nag-file naman ako, mali lang yung form na gamit, wala na, penalize pa rin sila. So, if ever you want to do it manually, you just have to make sure that you're filing the correct form, okay? And then, dun kasi walang description masyado. It's searchable naman, it's downloadable, walang description masyado on what you should input. So, I started filing manually. I started with that. And I did a lot of readings for each of the line item. Ano idadagdag ko dito? Ha? Ano daw to? May mga ganon. So, kung medyo you're into that, go ahead. Because I tried it. I can still do it. And I can, when people ask me how to do it, I can do it naman. And there are a lot of tutorials online to do it. But you know, time is required, patience is required, but you can. That's EBIR. If ever may mga freelancer ang kilala, mga influencers who came to us na medyo mayayaman na talaga, they're required by BIR to use naman another platform, which is a different platform naman, which we're not accredited to cater as of now. So, there.
Okay, thank you for that. And pipili lang tayo mga questions kasi medyo maraming questions that came in kanina. There's like one question from Carol Vergara who asked like, will this level up you as a freelancer to present yourself to the clients? Like, how can you use it? How can you use like being a registered freelancer or a registered taxpayer to elevate your business?
Okay, to be honest, when you go to transactions, walang magtatanong na, ay, magkano yung tax form mo? Pati yung tax form mo. Wala talaga. Okay, when we started our business, konting kwento lang. We attended a bidding, nanalo kami ng bidding sa isang university. And all was there until such time that they were supposed to pay us and they asked for a receipt. Receipt payment mo lang resibo. It's usually like that for freelancers as well. Parang you can easily offer a service, but if that company is also have no choice but to document your transaction, kasi hindi ka pala naman declare expense, dapat may resibo. Then, you know, that's one of the things that they check. Some companies check on that. Meron namang iba, you're not yet registered. Ang ginagawa nila, nagwi-withhold na sila kaagad. So, a portion of your income is withheld. Na, so feeling mo, ay, walang kaso, okay lang. Pag rehistro nila, that's when the penalty comes in. Nakita ni BIR, may kinita ka, di ka pala registered. So, may ganon. In terms of scaling up, an advantage for us, I can only speak for our situation. It's so easy for us to bid for companies for the services because we have the documents. We know it's not going to be a problem. Unlike for other companies. So, if you want that level of, you know, confidence of, it's okay, I have that, I can issue receipts. Mas mababa din yung withholding tax if you're registered as well. Then, you know, in fact, I've talked to some free divers kasi maraming nag-free dive ngayon. Kaka-Instagram yun ng mga artista, ganon. So, nag-free dive. Yun din yung concern ng mga free dive instructors, like to be able to issue receipts. Because some of the companies, they reimburse activities like that. Mga wellness something. Mm-hmm. So, you can offer services as well. So, mga ganon. So, yun, hindi naman agad-agad, but time will come, it will make sense. It will work for your end as well.
Yes, exactly. And also like kasi ngayon ang tinitingnan lang natin kasi is Upwork lang yung platform where you can offer your services. Pero as a freelancer or as an independent talent, pwede rin kayong mag-sell ng services outside Upwork. Like for example, maraming companies here in the Philippines who are looking on for consultants or for freelancers. So, pwede niyong i-offer yung services niyo sa kanila dito sa mga companies na to. Siyempre, gaya ng sinabi ni Melanie, dapat meron kayong resibo. 'Di ba? Hihingan kayo ng resibo paminsan or para mai-tag nila yung mga binabayad nila sa inyo as expenses. So mas maganda 'yon. Usually yung mga company na nag-hire, mga Philippine company na nag-hire ng mga freelancers, kinakailangan nila 'yon. So ayun, at least may elevate mo yung business mo to another level, 'di ba? Hindi lang sa pwedeng hindi nga lang sa Upwork, pwedeng dito naman sa konteksto na nasa Pilipinas ka.
Yes.
Okay. May actually dalawang tanong, iko-combine ko na lang. Alam ko sinagot mo na 'to kanina, Melanie, pero just to recap dahil baka naano na sila, naguluhan na sila sa dami ng information, ayan. From Jerica Bordeos and from Fitzpatrick Saison, ang tinatanong nila is meron bang minimum to qualify in filing taxes or, meron bang exception kung maliit lang yung income mo as a freelancer?
Okay, so para mas madali intindihin kasi yung tax compliance, there's registration and there's filing. The thing is, none of the regulation says you're exempted to file. In fact, kung ikaw ay, let's say you're a professional and for a certain season, wala kang kinita, you still need to file the form. That's why there are forms by BIR that says, how much is your gross income? Pag zero, edi zero, the tax computation will arrive at zero. Wala siyang kukumpita ng tax kasi wala ka namang kinita. But probably the next month, we had another transaction. Lalagay mo din yung income, saka magko-compute ng tax. But nevertheless, there's still the context of, hey, are you practicing your profession? Are you offering your services out there? Kailangan magrehistro. Okay? Register ka lang. Pag walang kinita, kailangan mo lang i-file. And then pag walang kinita, zero tax due. You still need to file the form. So in terms of exemption, wala. Kasi if you're an earning individual and for some reason wala kang kinita, you're still required to register it. Pero kung wala ka talagang ginagawa sa buhay mo, yung parang wala lang talaga, you're not offering your services out there, then there's no way for them to tax you out. But if ever your name is out there already, you're offering your services out there, you should be registered. Again, pag wala kang kinita, wala siyang kukumpitan ng tax. I-file mo lang siya, uy, biro lang kinita ha, okay, nanganak ako, nag-rest ako, nag-mental health break ako, okay lang, walang tax yun. You still need to file it so that they know, uy, wala ka palang kinita for this season. Alright, in terms of bracket of income, on income tax, I keep pounding on it. Yung initial 250,000 of income mo, kasi income tax is the most common tax for all earning individuals in business. Walang tax yung initial 250,000 mo ng income. So if ever it's so mababa, for income tax wala. But on the other forms I've discussed, like business taxes, it's based on gross kasi. So kung if ever meron ding konti, magkano lang naman yung 3% or 12% kung talagang maliit yung kinita mo. So it will depend on the forms that they are requiring you to file, but on income tax, yes, may bracket yun, 250,000, that's non-taxable.
Okay.
So
merong isang tanong na sinagot naman din ng isang attendee natin, ng isang audience natin. Pero I just want you, Melanie, to confirm. So Luis Bumina ang asked, so you mean all freelancers in Upwork are mandatory to pay taxes? And Lance Christian Buyao said, all freelancers must register and pay their taxes. Whether or not you earned little or a lot, the government that you are earning. Is this true, Melanie?
yes, it is. The fact that you already are a professional, ideally you should be registered already. So if you're already advertising out there, ladies and gentlemen, marunong po mag-Google, mag-Facebook ang ating mga BIR personnel. So hindi po sila nandun lang kung ano nasa record nila. In fact, they're very aggressive on checking online transactions. So we don't want to come across someone asking for a service and pag di ka nakapag-issue ng resibo, automatic may mga did you know, nag-encourage din sila ng mga sumbongero. If ever may mga,
Whistleblower.
oo, pag may nag-report, hindi ako hindi siya ng resibo nito. May mga ganun. So, there, I hope you don't come across that. Pero yun, correct. That is correct. If you have your profession already, you might as well protect yourself, mag-register ka. Like I said, kung wala ka namang kinita, you're not practicing it for a certain period, you just file the form. Zero po. Wala talaga eh. Okay. So, ganun lang naman. By the time you go back to it and you have the group to earn already, at least, the documents are there.
Okay. Kanina, nabanggit natin, nung pagka magre-register tayo as a non-licensed professional or as a professional or a sole proprietor, sinabi natin na sa LGU, kailangan mag-file tayo ng occupational tax receipt. Tama ba? Kaso, nabanggit dito ni Lance Christian and ni Jelly Me Casaria na yung municipality nila, yung LGU nila, ay hindi nag-i-issue ng OTR. So, paano yung mga ganon?
Okay, very interesting. Kasi, the thing is, on our experience as well on taxation, ang mahirap i-consolidate at mahirap pag-isahin ay ang LGU taxes. So, apparently, there are municipalities na hindi nga alam yun. Ano po yun? Parang gano'n, wala doon. But there are municipalities here, like tulad ng where we're registered, na very aggressive din naman. So, if ever you went there, you documented you went there, wala daw eh. You might as well ask around. Pag wala, edi syempre, sila din kasi yung magpe-penalize. Ang LGU also has, have you heard of the news? Yung isang telecom company based in Makati, pinasara hindi ng BIR, ng munisipyo yon. LGU taxes yon, okay? So, the LGU also has a power to impose taxes, okay? So, yung taxes kasi nila, yun nga, pwedeng annual lang, that OTR or PTR. If ever wala pa silang ganun, they're not prepared for it, then at least, I went there they said wala. At least you've tried complying. If ever you've come across someone, pero minsan po, beware lang ha, kasi I've also done transactions with the LGU. Minsan, parang maling personal lang yung natanong mo. And then, if you come across the right personnel, that's when dapat nagganito ka. So, don't just ask one person. Probably you can check on some information desk pa for the LGU if ever they really have that. Para you can really make sure you've, tried your best to comply. But, yun nga, I can't speak in behalf of the LGU kasi iba-iba din po yung rate ng taxes per LGU. Minsan sa mga probinsya, mas mababa. Pero yung mga municipalities and cities na matataas din yung taxes. So, yun, at least you've tried. Ask around pa rin there.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Gusto ko lang pasalamatan si Jason Abenido who's trying to answer like questions in our Q&A. So marami siyang questions kanina Like meron nagtanong, meron ako sari-sari store but I'm also a freelancer. Ano yung mixed income ba yun? Tapos sinagot niya, yes, that's mixed income. Tapos meron ding nagtanong, empleyado ako but side hustle ko yung freelancing. So mixed income ba yun? Tapos sinagot niya rin. Ayan. So,
clarify ko lang, kasi we've also asked BIR about this. Kasi, totoo, yung term na mixed income is confusing. In the context of filing the form on income tax, what BIR accepts as mixed income category is if you are employed, fully employed, okay, full-time employee, and then you have your side hustle, could be freelancing or a business. That's mixed income earner. But I came across people who are online freelancers and then they have a sari-sari store. Strictly for the use of the term, hindi siya mixed income multiple income stream. So pwedeng pag-registration, BIR can mandate, iba yung registration ni sari-sari store. Iba yung registration ni freelancing. But I've also come across, this is what I do I do this service, and then ganito, pinag-isa, inallow siya ng BIR. Then, at least BIR yung kausap niya. Pero on the context of mixed income, what they really refer is employment plus freelancing or business. Ganun siya.
Thank you for clarifying that. Merong mga nagtanong kanina, parang, ano ba yung expenses? Kunwari, freelancer ka. So ako, ang services ko ay online lang through Upwork. Paano ako maghahanap ng expenses? Ano yung mga expenses na pwede kong ilagay?
Okay, so hindi masyado, wala kasing list of expenses si BIR. That's especially for what you do. But what we tell people is anything you can justify that's related to what you do. Example, you're renting a space. If ever you're renting it, and the lessor can give you receipts or there's a contract with it, then pwede siya. Internet, yung syempre you can't render your service without internet connection. Up to what means are you like availing that service, pwede yon. Or if ever you have meetings because you want to acquire that client, business meetings, pwede yon. Yung mga anything related to what the devices that you use. Kasi the thing is, when you get audited kasi, hindi naman, sa totoo lang, when we ask accountants, paano ba nag-audit si BIR? Hindi naman nila iniisa-isa talaga yun. Okay? They don't have that time. Pero nag-job check, spot check sila. And once they see some red flags, that's when they dig deeper. Okay? But at least lang, on your own end, syempre huwag ka nang magdalagay dyan ng diaper. Tapos, syempre, ginagawa mo, online freelancing, you're developing websites. Syempre, yung mga personal expenses, di nakasama doon. But I've heard they also allow your voluntary contribution kasi nga you're not employed for SS PhilHealth Pag-ibig. That's also acknowledged as an expense. And then, what you do, related to what you do talaga. So, kung kumain ka outside because you work there, pwede yun. Ganun. But you have to bear in mind that you have to, for official receipt, nakapangalan sa'yo as the taxpayer. So, kung ang registered name mo is this specific name, lagay doon, di ba nilalagay sa resibo yun? Kanino galing? Tapos ano yung TIN doon? Okay. Kasi pag in-audit ka, just in case, nandun, isa lang pa mo kay Kuya Officer, ay, mga resibo ko, may pangalan ko yan, ganun. So, it has to be named to you as a taxpayer. Apparently, pag kumakain ako sa labas, may mga nakikita akong namumulot ng resibo sa food court. Ang saya. Syempre, ganun. May ganun po talaga. Pero syempre, it will be up to BIR when they do spot checks kasi kung ma-justify mo yun. Ba't may ganito ka? Ganun. So, yun. Anything you can justify. Pero wala kasi silang list. Pero usually naman, they don't really audit. But if ever, lalo may mga virtual offices, usually yun yung nakikita agad ni BIR. Kasi they audit virtual office. Tapos kung sino yung mga nandun kasama din sa virtual office na yun, ayun na, lahat. Tingin ng books, resibo, ganun. So, yun po.
Ayun. Merong nagtanong and related to Taxumo. So, sagutin lang muna natin. Ano bang, yung unang tanong is, ano yung advantages of filing with Taxumo versus the BIR? And then yung sunod na tanong is, yung Taxumo ba available to Filipinos all over the Philippines or sa NCR lang?
Okay, Taxumo is a web-based app. So long as you have an internet connection, we have clients as far as Zamboanga, who is using the platform, not just for tax filing, but even for books of accounts. So you can use it kung nasan ka sa Pilipinas. There are also people who are based abroad that they have accountants here in the Philippines who's managing their business, that they just encode everything in Taxumo. Tapos they message the owner somewhere out there, uy, magbayad ka na. So that person pays online. The advantage, and I'm gonna be honest with you, because I did it manually and I did it with Taxumo. When you do it manually, it's not kasi something that you can do on your phone. I homeschool my child. We're always out there. And if I file my taxes manually, I have to bring my non-Apple device, open that, choose the specific form, and encode, consolidate all of my records. Magkano nga kinita ko this quarter? So kung meron ka nun, syempre it's easier for you. What if it's not consolidated? Ay, may nadagdag pala dito. I-add mo doon, mano-mano yun. Okay, tapos magko-compute naman siya automatically. The thing is, when you file for next quarter, ang behavior kasi ng tax form, for example, income tax, you filed the first quarter. When you file the second quarter, it will ask you again, huy, magkano yung kinita mo last quarter? Nagbayad ka ba ng tax last quarter? Magkano yun? It doesn't consolidate. It asks you all over again. So if you do it manually, kung may record ka at magaling ka doon, then go ahead, you can do it manually. What I love about Taxumo is that, this is, personally, I use it for filing. I joined the company because gusto ko ma-free yung pag-file. And to be honest, Kuripotin kasi ako. And then, during my journey as customer service provider, that's when I learned. That's why I do these talks. The thing is, sobrang swabe ng consolidation. Kasi ako, hindi ako mahilig maglista. So if ever I have expenses, galing ako sa isang meeting, I encode it on my phone using the web app. Magko-consolidate na siya. Nandun na lahat. Kasi hindi ako magaling mag-record. Hindi ako magaling mag-bookkeep. So it's already consolidated. When I file for the next quarter, huhugutin niya kung ano yung mga pinag-encode ko last quarter, kung ano yung bago kong encode ko, consolidate niya agad. So that's the nice thing about it. And it's very cheap compared to hiring, because I also tried hiring an accounting firm. I also tried hiring independent accountants. And I got frustrated kasi hindi masagot-sagot. Bakit ganito yung tax ko? With Taxumo, it allows me kasi may real-time tax calculation. So nakikita ko, nabomonitor ko. So, mag-set aside na pala ganitong amount. So you can try it for yourself. But for those who do it manually, man, I started there. Ang sipag nyo, te. Okay, I admire you. If you have all that time, go ahead. Oo, may mga tutorials din naman. And I still, to be honest, when I do these talks, I still keep up kasi every now and then BIR updates their eBIR platform. So ngayon nasa 7 versions 0.3 na sila. Sobrang daming version. Tapos usually change sila ng version before the deadline. So make sure that you have the latest version when you file the form. So kaya naman siya, pero mano-mano talaga.
Okay, thank you for that. And also to those people who are asking about Taxumo, like meron ba kayong can I get a one-on-one consultation with someone from Taxumo? Yes, you just have to go to the website, tapos meron silang chat button doon. And then you can ask to be connected to someone. Tapos gaya nga nung sinabi kanina ni Melanie, pwede kayong kumuha nung isang plan where there is a bookkeeper for you. Siya nagagawa ng lahat, tapos tingin-tingin na lang kayo dyan. Or syempre, may babayaran pa rin kayo services there. And also, may isa ring nagtanong tungkol sa Taxumo. Ano nga ba yung tanong niya? Nalimutan ko na, so babalikan ko na lang mamaya. Pero itong final 9 minutes natin, gusto ko masulit natin yung si Melanie, no, bago natin siya i-let go at bago natin i-end yung event. So, yung dalawang tanong na may pinakamaraming likes dito sa ating Q&A is, pag nag-register ba ako ngayon, so ibig sabihin registration late dahil kunwari 5 taon na akong nag-freelance, meron ba akong penalty for the last 5 years na hindi ko declare yung income ko?
Okay, so I'll give you a tip, okay? Kasi ano naman the internal platform, right, recording. When you go there and when you register, when you give your, let's say, portfolio, kung ano lang yung tinanong ni officer, yun lang yung sagutin ninyo, okay? The thing is, there are cases, pag walang paper trail, wala silang mahanap, edi, thank you. Walang penalty, okay? So you don't wanna be baited with, what you tell the officer. So kung ano yung tinanong, just answer straightforward. Pero syempre, if they ask, then, you can be honest about it. But usually naman kasi, and what I want to tell you is that, tao din yung taga-BIR. You can explain and talk to them. If ever wala naman din kasing matatrack na record of your transactions before, wala din silang basis to compute penalty. So, may mga tao din na matagal na sa industry, when they register, wala naman nakita, edi okay. Pag sinabi nila, ay, may nakita kami on our records, edi wala kang choice, comply ka na lang. Ganon siya. So, it's hard to say meron, it's hard to say wala. But they are robust in their means to track transactions. I just don't know up to what extent they are doing it. Pero when you register, they will see the records naman. Pag wala, edi wala, walang kaso. Pag meron, edi pwede ka namang makiusap na hindi agad-agad bayaran. You can talk to them and maybe bargain for a certain time or do it in tranches. So, tao din naman, you can explain your case to them. Sir, I just didn't know. It was, I'm doing this, wala namang ganun category. So, they will help you out naman. At least you're coming forward and, explaining yourself, not intentionally evading it. So, more of ganun. I hope that helps.
Ito pala yung isang question kanina about Taxumo. Nawala ko na naman. Wait. Ayan, pwede bang sa Taxumo nila i-process yung registration nila as a freelancer?
We have CPA partners that can cater yung manual. Kasi the sad thing right now, pero in fairness, may effort naman ng government. Pero wala pa to register online. Kasi 2-3 years ago, may mga ganun na eh. Parang pwedeng one platform na lang daw to register LGU, BIR. Tapos hindi nila ma-impose pa. I'm one of the people who tested that. Pero until now, parang magpa 4 years na, wala pang na-launch. Registration is still being done manually. May mga forms talaga that you have to really sign and then go there, line up, okay? And then wait for your number to be called, which usually takes a day or two. And then balikan mo na lang mga ganon. Our accountant partners can help you out if you're based in Metro Manila. But for those outside the metro, kasi ang daming mga areas, perhaps you can check on our chat box dun sa Taxumo and tell the area. Kasi there are also accountants and bookkeepers who message us offering their service. So perhaps we can, connect you with them on that. So we're still looking for, if ever may kakilala din kayo, kasi I was tasked to look for Davao areas. Wala akong mahanap. Minsan lang ako mauwi. But we'll let you know. Let us know your area and then our team can scout kung may mga bagong connections sila that they can connect you with on registration. If ever wala, we can maybe send you some guides kung ano yung mga forms that you need to fill out just to, help you out on that context.
So, ayun. Melanie, ito lang, ikaklaro lang natin. So, kahit yung income namin, kunwari as freelancer, na gumagamit kami ng Upwork, kahit yung income namin ay galing sa mga kliyente namin outside of the Philippines, dapat lang na magbayad pa rin kami ng taxes. Tama ba?
All the more, yes, because the company is not remitting taxes on your behalf. So the fact that you are a Filipino, kasama po yun sa kontrata bilang Pilipino. Because a lot of people, even abroad, diba, that's their sentiment. And tataas ng taxes nila, but there are other nationalities who are benefiting on the government projects, right? Yun yung masama sa kanila. Kasi alam nyo, dito sa Pilipinas, hindi pa nga ganun ka-harsh yung taxation rules. It exists everywhere in the world. For their economy to survive, there's actually one country where I can't recall na binabaan masyado yung mga taxes and their economy failed. And it affected all of their industry. So, in the Philippines, it is being imposed. Pag ikaw ay isang Pilipino, it doesn't mean na kung ang client mo Pilipino, saka ka lang magta-tax. The fact that you are a Filipino and you are earning, you should be remitting your taxes. And since there's no company who does that for you, you should be doing it on your own. Kaya nga, yun, may kasama siya sa regulations. If you're practicing, regardless of who your clientele is, you should be. Ideally, okay, I feel you. Though, I feel you. Ang sakit. Pero, that's it. If you just gotta do your part as a Filipino, and
Mm-hmm. Tama. Ito isang tanong na feeling ko I can answer, but Melanie, feel free to add your thought, your inputs into this. So a question was, kanino ini-name yung ipapangalan yung resibo na i-issue nila? Sa Upwork ba or sa client name? So gusto ko lang linawin, ang Upwork ay facilitator ng services nyo. Ibig sabihin, hindi nila binibili ang mga serbisyo no. They're not buying the services that you're selling on the platform. They're just facilitating it and connecting you to other businesses. They're just connecting you to the client. So, ibig sabihin, kung merong bumili ng services nyo, yun ang ilalagay nyo sa OR nyo, hindi Upwork. So, kumbaga isipin nyo, Shopee seller kayo or Lazada seller kayo, hindi nyo ilalagay yung pangalan nung kunwari, nag-i-issue kayo ng OR, hindi nyo ilalagay na Lazada doon sa OR nyo. Ang ilalagay nyo is yung bumili ng mga produkto nyo sa Lazada or sa Shopee. Tama ba yun, Melanie?
Correct. Kung sino yung pinaka-consumer of the product and services, then that should be the name on the receipt. But the thing is, one of the struggles ng mga online freelancer is that when you issue receipt, they have to have the name of the client and then kung ano yung tax identification number. Since hindi sila based in the Philippines, you can skip that part and just attach documents. Tapos one of the concern is, what if I'm paid in dollars? How do I convert it in peso? So kung ano yung rate that day that you that you receive the money, you can convert it in peso and declare accordingly on the form. So at least lang, on your end, there's a level of compliance. Kahit hindi perfect, kasi hindi pa naman na-update yung mga regulations if your client is from abroad. But at least if you get audited, may level of documentation, at least you're willing to comply. So there you go.
Siguro sagot tayo ng isa pang last question. Wait, maghahanap lang ako ng magandang question. Wait
I'm
lang.
actually okay, kasi usually ang tagal ng Q&A. So I'm fine.
Oo. Ganun na nga. Sige, isa pang question. Ayan. Just before they sign up, and gusto ko lang sabihin sa lahat na itong naka-display or naka-flash na coupon code, which is Upwork Live, is a code that Taxumo shared with us so that you can get 30% off on their subscription plans if ever you sign up for Taxumo services. Ayan. So, pagka nag-sign up ba sila, Melanie, do they need anything? Do they need any documents to sign up to use Taxumo?
When you sign up kasi, you will be asked of details as a taxpayer. Kung di ka na pa naman sure, you can just input whatever details you know, and then you can edit your records on the setting later. So on setting up the account, hindi pa siya super strict kasi it's an internal platform. Hindi pa siya agad binabato kay BIR. The only time that your record reaches to BIR is when you click file. Okay, pag final na siya at nagbayad na, then saka natin ibabato kay BIR. So, it's like if you wanna test it out and put the whatever that you want muna doon, then saka mo nila i-edit, you can do it. But once you subscribe na, because you need to file, kasi it won't proceed on filing. Naglagay ka ng data, ito yung income ko. Hindi ka lang makakapag-file pag di ka subscribe. So once you file, that's when subscription will be asked, then that's when you can use this code. So panghawakan niyo itong code na to, kailangan niyo mag-file. Abril na po next month, mga mag-annual ITR, lalo yung mga kailangan ng visa, ayan na po, friends, okay? So this is our chance to file our ITR. So you can use this code as well.
Okay. So, ibig sabihin, Melanie, kunwari ngayon, ngayon ginawa natin itong workshop na to, itong webinar na to. Kailan ang magandang time para mag-register sila and then mag-file?
Alam mo, ang laging natatanongin na question, and the ideal answer is as soon as possible. People say, next year na lang para isahan na yung taxes, pero you'll never know when it's gonna catch on you. So as soon as you can, probably you can get it started. The thing is, ang maganda din with annual ITR, lalo pag naghahabol ng visa or bank loan, kasi yun talaga yung pinaka-chine-check para siyang graduation of the taxation year, closing of the taxation year. So kung wala kang mga quarterly filings, it still can be consolidated on your annual ITR. But nevertheless, if ever sinabi ni BIR na, uy, wala ka palang quarterly filing, at least ang babayaran mo na lang na penalty is non-filing, hindi yung non-payment of taxes. So may mga ganon. There you go.
Okay.
Also to clarify on the penalties, jab lang ako ng konti. If you did not file, kahit wala kang kita, hindi ka nag-register, there's a separate penalty. Okay? And it's based on the forms that you haven't filed. Right now, it's 1,000 peso per form. So if it's dapat quarterly, that's 1,000 per form. So that's 1,000, 1,000, 4,000 for that specific form. What if there's another form? Ilan beses yun in a year? So that's 1,000. That's just for not filing it. What if there's a tax due? Pag-compute nung kita ko may tax walang babayaran, ibang penalty pa po yun. Okay, ang maganda sa Pilipinas, wala namang nakukulong dahil di nag-file ng tax. Kasi ang maganda dito, ang maganda sa Pilipinas, there's a compromise fee. The compromise fee tells you can pay this para hindi siya maging criminal case. Okay? So, pwede mong bayaran yun. You know, lahat, even I was reading as well. Ang daming mga ine-extend. But there's a compromise fee. That's for non-filing. It's minimum 1,000 and then depende sa bracket of income. Iba pa yung penalty for non-payment. So, non-filing plus non-payment plus non-registration. Parang ganun. So, iba-iba yung facets of doing the penalties. But nevertheless, for short, mag-file and then magbayad kung may tax due. So, ganun siya. Sorry for cutting you, Avery.
lang, I just wanted to ask before we end this webinar, do you have any last tips for everyone?
You'll never understand it if you don't do it. Kasi it's a different context when you hear about it. But when you start doing it, that's when it all makes sense. There are things that are presented here that are too overwhelming kasi hindi pa eh, you're not doing it. But when you start doing it, I tell you, it's not really a feel-good thing, okay? Even right now, I have a tax due today. I have to file today, but it's not really a feel-good thing. But, end of the day, what you're buying is peace of mind that you're complying with the law. Gobyerno po kalaban natin if we don't comply. So it's not just some transaction. It is the government. So for peace of mind, get ahead. One step at a time. Once you keep doing it, kasi it's gonna be a monthly thing. It's gonna be a quarterly thing, an annual thing, depending on the form that you're filing. You get the hang of it. At yun nga sinasabi ko sa inyo, baon-baon nyo to, regardless of whatever stream your income is. Because taxes are gonna be a nightmare, as people call it. It's gonna be there. Even, pag may ari-arian na kayo at magpapamana kayo, may taxes pa rin yun. So, you might as well, get the hang of it because it's really part of life. So, and yun nga, tulungan natin ating mga kababayan na hindi capable to earn at least reach out to them by, just look at your health centers, look at the traffic enforcers out there. There's still are means that your taxes are helping them out, politics aside. So you just look at that picture and comfort yourself. Sige. At least I'm helping them out in my way. So there you go. I hope that helps.
Ayun, maraming salamat, Melanie. Thank you, Taxumo. Taxumo team, Melanie, for gracing us gracing this event. Super madami akong notes, marami akong natutunan na naman every time we have this type of event, marami akong natututunan na bago lagi. Kahit pa ulit-ulit siya, parang laging, nga no, hindi ko naalala to last time. So ayun, for everyone who has questions na hindi nasagot, Taxumo can be reached through their website and also through their Facebook page. Naalala ko lang na meron din silang mga parang Facebook Live or meron din silang ginagawang mga their own webinars. So if you want to learn more, just reach out to them or sign up for their events or watch out for any Facebook Live or any webinar kasi naandun lahat ng sagot na hinahantay nyo. And may idea sila kung ano yung ginagawa natin, kung ano yung klase ng services natin, alam din nila kung ano yung Upwork. So if you mention that, naiintindihan nila where you're coming from and definitely masasagot nila yung mga additional questions nyo. So don't hesitate to go to their website, taxumo.com, or go to their Facebook page. Just type in Taxumo, mahahanap nyo sila, the bright blue page there. And ayun, maraming salamat for everyone who's asking for the recording of this event. It will be posted in the community page, so just watch out for it. It will be posted siguro mga after a week. So it's maraming salamat to everyone who attended. I hope you learned a lot today. Thank you so much, Melanie and Taxumo team, for teaching us about taxation in the Philippines. We hope everyone enjoy your day. Maraming salamat, everyone. Thank you.